Hello everyone, just Goran here and welcome back to another Planet Zoo real life inspiration video. A new DLC has been announced. We don't know what it is yet, but we know it features the honey badger. And the timing of this could not have been more perfect, because I would have only had one enclosure to show you, if not for the fact that I've just come back from a zoo trip to the Czech Republic where I've seen 3 more honey badger enclosures. So let's look at all 4 of the ones that I've got, starting over here at Tierpark Berlin, where the honey badgers are in these more classical cage-like enclosures over here. And this was actually my first time seeing the honey badgers, so I was super excited. I had no idea that Berlin had them, because on Zootherlisten they're actually listed as a Ratel. So when I searched for honey badger, this zoo didn't show up, so a complete surprise and a welcome one. The enclosure isn't too great having to view them through the mesh. It does have some nice climbing, some plants. I love the enrichment item over there, a little rolling thing that the food can drop out. We have that in Planet Zoo, it just doesn't look as nice as that one. And yeah, they have 2 enclosures over here side by side, probably connected through the backstage, and they can have the honey badgers together or not, depending on the situation. But that's it for Berlin, and now it's time for me to butcher some Czech names. So this is the zoo of Dvůr, Králové. It's a safari park, and in the walking part of the zoo we have these enclosures. This one, I'm not exactly sure if it's also for the honey badger. It's not really signed very clearly. There's a sign in the middle over there that says caracal and then honey badger, so either of these enclosures is for either of them. But even that was a little bit confusing, because when I came here in the evening there was actually a Persian leopard walking around in this enclosure over here. So I guess they get to use this enclosure as well at times, probably not at the same time as the honey badger though. But as you can see over here, definitely a honey badger walking around in the same enclosure right there, and it was really cool to see him. He was super active, pacing around the enclosure all over the place, and it's a really lovely enclosure. I like all the greenery that it can move between. It was really fun watching him traverse this space. Yeah, really fun enclosure right there. And then next up we have the Zoo of Olomouc, where we have this building with a bunch of African mammals, including the aardvark, meerkats, and the honey badger as well. They have their outdoor enclosures around here and the indoor enclosures inside, and this is the indoor part for the honey badger, and just look at how cool that looks. I love the rock work going up against the walls, creating this kind of cliff and a part of a cave, which then leads into their outdoor enclosure through the gate in the back. The honey badgers were once again super active over here, coming up to the glass, but also climbing around this climbing frame and climbing on top of those rocks, which really shows you that they're actually pretty decent climbers. I had no idea, but it was really cool to see them traverse this space over here as well. As you go out of the building, you are immediately greeted by the outdoor enclosure right here, which sadly isn't as great. It's cool that it's open top, it gives you a great view, but it's a little bit too open in my opinion. There's also not a lot of shade, and yeah, it's quite barren as well. And then the simple climbing frame in the middle, it would be cool if they were to climb up there, but I don't see them do that very often, because there's gonna be a lot of eyes on them. They're completely exposed here, so yeah, not a very great outdoor enclosure. And the honey badger also never really set foot in it. They just took one step outside and then turned around again. And the last zoo that we're visiting today is the Zoo of Prague, where we have a lovely little area with all these rocks kind of sticking out of the ground, even throughout the visitor area, and then with some enclosures strewn throughout for various small African mammals, including ground squirrel, porcupine, fennec fox, and we just saw something move in the bushes there. It is the honey badger over here. So their enclosure is kind of up against this building right here, which contains their indoor area as well. And yeah, you can see it's a nice lush enclosure. Once again, some tall grasses and some bushes for them to weave throughout. I tried to get a close-up of them doing so, but sadly the only footage I got was them just going into the backstage for like 1 second, only seeing their butt really, so that didn't quite work out. What you can see from over here is there's also glass between this enclosure and the enclosure to the left of it, which is for the bat-eared fox, so that's also pretty neat right there. And you can also enter the area over here. I'm not even gonna try to pronounce the name of it. It is Czech for Africa, up close, and you can definitely get up close to the animals in this indoor section. As you can see right here, you're right up against the honey badgers, weaving through all of these nice bits of enrichment throughout their enclosure. Also the next day it was kind of passed out over there inside of the box, which is really fun. It's a lovely area. You just shouldn't be here when there's like a school bus full of children in here as well, because it gets very, very loud. But after they left, it was actually really nice walking through here and enjoying the enclosure. But yeah, that's it. And now I know that I'm gonna get a comment, hey, doesn't the Wildkatzenzentrum in Sunflower or something also have honey badger? And yes, they do, but when I visited, they asked me not to record their enclosure because it was not really up to their own standard, and they were working on improving it, but they were having some difficulty with legislation. So I'm assuming that the enclosure that they want to build for it looks something like these ones over here, which is also for servals and civets and stuff like that. But yeah, I don't have footage of the actual enclosure, and trust me, you don't want to see it. It's not great. Not to the fault of the zoo, but just due to circumstances. But yeah, that's it. Those are all the honey badger enclosures I've seen. Hope you enjoyed and got some honey badger inspiration. I'll see you in the next video. If you know more about the DLC, it'll be a DLC video. If not, it will be one of the many cool animals that I saw on my zoo trip that I can now finally make videos about. So yeah, before we stop, just a quick thanks to my channel members and a special thanks to David Poggi, who's the latest joiner. Thank you so much for the support, and see you next time. Bye!